The pursuit of efficiency, getting the most with the least investment of energy, time, or money, was once a laudable goal. But being effective in today's world is less a question of optimizing for a known and relatively stable set of variables than responsiveness to a constantly shifting environment. Adaptability, not efficiency, must become our central competency.
64,000 is the median number of words per book. Average person reads about 200 words per minute. Simple math will tell us that is one book in 320 minutes. To accomplish this in 7 days, numbers say you would have to read for 45 minutes a day. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button, like, comment, and share. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Book of the Week series. Every week as I read another amazing title, I share it with the world. My name is Igor S.F. Walker. Today we look at Team of Teams, New Rules of Engagement for a Complex World by General Stanley McChrystal. So how about you slow down and relax? Reduce all that noise for just a bit. Make that choice and decide to listen. In this video, we go far beyond soldiers. It is a story about big guys and little guys, butterflies, gardeners, and chess masters. The reader will meet slimy toads, mythical beasts, clanging machines, and sensitive ecosystems. We look at the creation and the development of the Team of Teams. Stick around till the end. I will share with you some tools I do have and use that will help you tremendously in this game of life. Discover a way to find out what actually motivates you, what innate human need is driving all of your decisions and your behavior. I will share some tools to improve your self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and relationship management. Efficiency is necessary, but no longer sufficient to be a successful organization. It worked in the 20th century, but it is now quickly overwhelmed by the speed and the exaggerated impact of small players, such as terrorists, startups, and viral trends. Management models based on planning and predicting, instead of resilient adaptation to changing circumstances, are no longer suited to today's challenges. Organizations must be networked, not soiled, in order to succeed. The goal must shift from efficiency to sustained organizational adaptability. Now, this requires traumatic shifts and dramatic ones in mental and organizational models, as well as sustained efforts of the part of leadership to create an environment for such a change. Innovation and problem solving become the products of teamwork, not a single architect. The role of a leader becomes creating a broader environment instead of a command and control micromanagement. Efficiency remains important, but the ability to adapt to complexity and continual change has become an imperative. General McChrystal, 4-star general, and his team restructured their force from the ground up on the principles of extremely transparent information sharing, what they called shared consciousness, and decentralized decision-making authority, empowered execution. They dissolved the barriers, the walls of silos, and the floors of hierarchies that had once made them efficient. They looked at and found ways to extend them to organizations of thousands spread across 3 continents. They became what is now called a team of teams, a large command that captured at scale the traits of agility normally limited to small teams. At its heart, what was crafted was an organizational culture that rewarded individual initiative and critical thinking, as opposed to simple execution of commands. In popular culture, the term butterfly effect is almost always misused. It has become synonymous with leverage, the idea of a small thing that has a big impact, with the implication that, like a lever, it can be manipulated to a desired end. Now, this misses the whole point of Lawrence's insight. The reality is that small things in a complex system may have no effect or a massive one, and it is virtually impossible to know which will to turn out to be the case. The increased interdependence that goes into creating our physical products is nothing compared with the leaps in digital connectivity witnessed in recent years. The rise of crowdsourced fundraising campaigns, right? The viral online trends and mobile payment systems testify that the spread of technology has brought almost all of us into a much wider web of connectivity than we were in a decade or 2 ago. So Boeing might gain in efficiency by outsourcing its production processes, but that outsourcing also means that now events in a dozen countries across 3 continents do have the power to disrupt its operations. The successful assembly of a plane now depends not just on few factories remaining intact, but on safe passage across oceans, acceptable labor conditions in Japan, a lack of natural disasters in Sweden, stable exchange rates, and flexible supply chain management, as we have crept towards a many-to-many environment of complexity. We have engineered increasingly complicated solutions. Now, gifted managers have developed intricate protocols and organizational hierarchies to cover all likelihoods. See, data might have enabled Tunisian authorities to determine what Bouaziz's was most likely to do on the day he self-immolated, but that would have done nothing to foresee what he actually did do, or the calamity that ensued. See, if you're trying to track 100, 1,000, or 10,000 Bouaziz's, it is inevitable that at least a few of those will depart from expectations, rendering plans based on expected outcomes useless. The technological changes of recent decades have led to a more interdependent and fast-paced world. This creates a state of complexity. Complexity produces a fundamentally different situation from the complicated challenges of the past. Complicated problems required great effort, but ultimately yielded to prediction. Complexity means that in spite of our increased ability to track and to measure, the world has become in many ways vastly less predictable. This unpredictability is fundamentally incompatible with reductionist managerial models based around planning and prediction. The new environment simply demands a new approach. Efficiency is doing things right. Effectiveness is doing the right thing. If you have enough foresight to know with certainty what the right thing is in advance, then efficiency is an apt proxy for effectiveness. In the way words swirl, the correlation between efficiency and effectiveness actually breaks down. Prediction is not the only way to confront threats. Developing resilience, learning how to reconfigure to confront the unknown is a much more effective way to respond to a complex environment. Fundamental structural differences separate from commands from teams. The former is rooted in reductionist prediction and very good at executing planned procedures efficiently. The latter is less efficient but much more adaptable. The connectivity of trust and purpose imbues teams with an ability to solve problems that could never be foreseen by a single manager. Their solutions often emerge as the bottom-up result of interactions rather than top-down orders and following orders. So the task force's constituent teams has exemplified adaptability. A command-like superstructure constrained the organization at large. This command of teams approach was actually more flexible than conventional command, but was still not adaptable enough to deal with the complexities of the 21st century. These solutions devised was a team of teams, an organization within which the relationship between the constituent teams resembled those between individuals on a single team. Teams that traditionally have resided in separate silos would now have to become fused to one another via trust and purpose. Harnessing the capability of the entire geographically dispersed organization meant information sharing had to achieve levels of transparency entirely new to both organizations. In traditional organizations, this actually constitutes culture change that does not come easily, and it demanded a disciplined effort to create shared consciousness. Cooperation across silos would be necessary for success. And while systemic understanding was a valuable first step, what was needed is to build more trust if we were to achieve the fluid team-like cooperation that we needed, where systemic understanding mirrors the sense of purpose that bonds small teams. This actually mirrored the second ingredient to teams formation, trust. Together, these two elements completed the establishment of shared consciousness, something that was vital to our success. New technologies offer today's leaders unprecedented opportunity to gather information and direct operations, but because of the speed necessary to remain competitive, centralization of power now comes at a great cost. Effective adaptation to emerging threats and opportunities requires the disciplined practice of empowered execution. Individuals and teams closest to the problem, armed with unprecedented level of insight from across the network, offer the best ability to decide and act decisively, although we intuitively know the world has changed. Most leaders reflect a model and lead a development process that are sorely out of date. We often demand unrealistic levels of knowledge in leaders and then force them into ineffective attempts to micromanage. The temptation to lead as a chess master, controlling each move of the organization, must give way to an approach as a gardener, enabling rather than directing. Gardening approach to leadership is anything but passive. The leader acts as an eyes-on, hands-off enabler who creates and maintains an ecosystem in which the organization operates, just as empowerment without sharing fails, so does sharing without empowerment. Shared consciousness is a carefully maintained set of centralized forums for bringing people together. Empowered execution is a radically decentralized system for pushing authority out to the edges of the organization. As with team members, complex system components, and other dynamics, the union of shared consciousness and empowered execution is simply greater than the sum of their parts. The speed and interdependence of the modern environment creates complexity. Coupling shared consciousness and empowered execution creates an adaptable organization able to react to complex problems. The relationship between context and authority is as ancient as it is intuitive, but it has usually been directed by improving the information given to the senior leaders, thereby enhancing their decision-making purview. Now we reverse this direction. We use shared consciousness to pump information out, empowering people at all levels, and we redefine the role of leadership, gardeners. What we do would not have been possible 20, 10, maybe even 5 years prior. So essential to our approach were the information technologies we harnessed. Today it is possible. As the task force transformed itself, both the speed and precision improved dramatically. This was not a triumph of fine-tuning it into a hyper-efficient machine. It had become a more transparent, more organic entity. Technology had been both a cause of our challenge and a tool for our success. But it was the culture change in the organization that actually allowed the task force to use it properly. At the core of the task force's journey to adaptability lay a yin and yang symmetry of shared consciousness achieved through strict centralized forums of communication and extreme transparency, and empowered execution, which involved the decentralization of managerial authority. Together, these powered the task force. Neither would suffice alone. Our transformation is reflective of the new generation of mental models we must adopt in order to make sense of the 21st century. If we do manage to embrace this change, we can unlock tremendous potential for human problems. And there you have it. Team of teams. Now, please do help out. It is easy. Simply like this video. Like it so more people can enjoy it. Now, share it too and spread the word. Do leave a comment and share your thoughts. Subscribe to my channel and stay up to date. The link to this book is in the description below, so you buy it and read and never stop learning, especially learning about yourself and nature. So gift yourself by taking the free human needs test on my website and find out what actually motivates you, what innate Human need is driving all of your decisions and your behavior. And if you feel you are ready to improve your self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and relationship management even further, do check out my Master of Life Awareness program. The links are in the description below. Thank you. Love and respect.